I embarked on a solo road trip around the state of Arizona in the chillier month of March. Jerome was my second stop. I left Prescott early in the morning and soon was driving into the mountains. As you can see, the drive is on a very windy road. At a certain point, you pass the old mine and see the panoramic views of the valley below. It is splendidly scenic, and Jerome takes advantage of the views with structures hovering somewhat precariously on the sides of Cleopatra Hill. It is a very small town in central Arizona and is an historic copper mining town. It was once known as the wickedest town in the West. I arrived early, around 8:30 in the morning, and set about touring the town. My research suggested 3 sites to see on this visit: the Jerome State Historic Park, the Mining Museum, and the shops and galleries in town. I started with the Jerome State Historic Park, which is a 5-minute drive out of town. I was glad I started with this fabulous museum, which gave me a thorough and colorful history of Jerome. The museum is the former home of James Douglas, a wealthy mining executive. The expansive home has a pretty perch with views looking across to Jerome and down to the panoramic valley below. As you walk up from the free parking lot to the museum, you pass a picnic area in front that takes in the vast views below. You enter the museum through a gift shop and are directed to a video presentation. I loved this video. It was well produced, humorous, and communicated the storied history of Jerome, which included fires, landslides, saloons, prostitution, and of course, expansive mining. Jerome grew from a settlement of tents into a roaring mining community. At one point, it was the 4th largest city in Arizona, with a population of around 15,000 in the 1920s. The Great Depression and the end of World War II brought an end to the demand for copper, and since the town was solely dependent on the mines, the population decreased to about 50 to 100 people. Those few people resurrected the town by promoting it as an historic ghost town. Which brings us to today. Jerome is now a thriving tourist and artist hub with a modest population of around 450 people. It still proudly wears the moniker of Ghost Town. As a matter of fact, you can pay for a guided ghost walk where you look for spirits and ghosts throughout the city. Sorry, I passed on that one. Since Jerome sits on a hill, the houses and shops are terraced up the mountain. There is a main street where most of the shops, galleries, bars, and restaurants are, but the streets above and below also have some additional shops and galleries. I spent the next couple hours going into every single shop and gallery on the 3 main streets. There were a wide variety of shops, including traditional Arizona souvenir shops, art galleries, jewelry stores, rock shops, candy and fudge shops, and even a Christmas store. One of the most interesting stores, Nellie Bly, sold amazing kaleidoscopes. They had small, inexpensive versions, as well as very large and sophisticated versions. This one was $6,000. It was fun to see the creative way the kaleidoscope craft has grown over the years. These were finely crafted works of art. The several galleries that I wandered through were quite impressive. I especially enjoyed this artist cooperative, which housed numerous artists' works. Check out this chess set. Very creative and fun. Oh, and I should mention that there are some wine tasting venues in town. I usually don't drink, so didn't go, but you might want to check them out. After browsing shops, I visited the Mine Museum, which is on the main street of the town. After going to the Jerome Historical Museum, I found this one somewhat underwhelming and perhaps a little redundant. However, it was only $2 admission, so it was worth it to take a peek. The museum displayed history on the mining industry in Jerome through pictures and artifacts. At the back of the museum, there is a cave that gives you an idea of what it was like down in the mines. I did find this toilet interesting. I have to say it never crossed my mind that they would have to have a system for going to the bathroom down there. This contraption doesn't look like it was the most comfortable or private way to go. There was also a display about prostitution. With so many men and so few women, evidently prostitution thrived in the early years of Jerome. By 12:30, I had completed my list of things to see in Jerome. I asked a couple locals if there was anything I missed, and they assured me they had pretty much covered everything. Since I had booked a room at the Clinkscale Hotel in the heart of town, I just hung out until I was able to check in at 3. If I had a do-over, I wouldn't have stayed the night in Jerome. I don't think you need a full day to take in the sights of the town. Now, I do move through shops very quickly, so others might want more time, but just know that it is a very small town. For solo travelers, it is a very safe and friendly destination. For senior travelers, please note that the city is built on a hill, so there are steps, inclines, and uneven sidewalks. It would be difficult for anyone with limited mobility, since many of these old historic buildings are not built to today's standards. And because parking is limited on the main street, often people need to use the lower parking lots and hike up stairs to get to the main road. But overall, I found it to be a charming place to visit with a very colorful history, and the Clinkscale Hotel and Restaurant were fabulous. If you'd like to follow more of my senior and solo travels, please like and subscribe. Cheers!